You've heard a lot tonight about how the country's population is changing. Here's another one. We have the lowest rate of growth ever, and that's partly because we're having fewer children. Stats Canada says we're having about 18% fewer children than we did 10 years ago. And a growing number of us are choosing not to have kids at all. That could explain the popularity of an international club called No Kidding. Global National's Tara Nelson from Vancouver and Vegas tonight.
So R-O-L-L.
There are few things that give Jerry Steinberg as much pleasure as teaching. An ESL instructor for years, he's the first to say he really enjoys kids. But as he left his 20s, he realized he didn't want any of his own.
I had the middle-class Canadian dream of 2.3 kids, wife, and a dog, but numerous life experiences seemed to push me off that road, back onto the road towards child freedom.
As his friends with kids got busier, Jerry decided he needed new friends without kids. So he started a social group called No Kidding. Almost 20 years later, there are 72 chapters worldwide and almost 9,000 members.
It's just nice getting together with a bunch of other child-free people and being able to talk about things other than diapers and daycare.
And what better place to hold a childless convention than North America's adult playground, Las Vegas. For many members, being child-free is more than just a verbal commitment. 29-year-old Jo Pavlov had her tubes tied 3 years ago.
My mantra is it's better to make a mistake when you decide not to have children than to make a mistake when you do decide to have them. I actually really like kids, and I have a job that I work with kids, but since I don't have kids, I find I have a lot more freedom.
We really do take parenting very seriously, and we know it's not for everybody.
But overall,
this gathering is about more than fun in the sun. Members discuss societal pressures, advertising. One member even presents his master's thesis research on the child-free.
Overall, I've seen a strong tendency towards environmentalism. They definitely have strong feelings about deforestation, about global population and overpopulation of the planet. They tend to have a tendency towards personal responsibility.
And perhaps what they share the most is the feeling that finally they are not alone.
if there's a message that No Kidding can get out to the public, number one, parenthood is optional. Two, it's perfectly okay not to have kids.
In Las Vegas, this is Global's Tara Nelson reporting.
And that's Global National for Tuesday. I'm Kevin Newman. Thanks for sharing your time with us.
Now, the last word.
Throughout the 1990s, as Canada's population grew by nearly 2 million, the number of doctors per capita fell. The decline was just 0.5%. Still, since waiting lists grew during the decade, the ratio of physicians to patients should have gone up, not down. The numbers of nurses fell even more, by 7%, and the country lost 17% of its licensed practical nurses, those diligent souls who take vital signs, give massages, administer medications, and assist patients with bathing and dressing. The 90s were not all bad news, though. The number of dentists climbed 4%, pharmacists rose 13%, and psychologists, physios, chiropractors, and dental hygienists rose by as much as 2/3. Do you see the connection, though? Professions tied to the government health monopoly fell, while private sector medical professions expanded to meet demand. We may decide as a nation that no Canadian should ever go without adequate health care. But if we want more health care faster, even for the poor, we're going to have to introduce market incentives into the delivery of services and get over the notion that only government is morally qualified to administer health care. I'm Lorne Gunter of the Edmonton Journal, and that's The Last Word.
Let us know what you think about The Last Word. Email us at lastword@canada.com. Or you can mail your comments to The Last Word, 81 Barber Green Road, Toronto, M3C 2A2.